Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I will be taking my client that I have done a few times on this channel. I will link her last video above right here of what we did about 6 months ago. And it was basically not really color correction, but if you just go watch that video, you'll know like her history on her hair. Well, she is back today and her goal is going from her basically grown out, almost natural to blonde ends to this beautiful contrasty, I call it Bronde. Now it's a word and I actually love it because it's not blonde, it's not brown, it's in between. So the tone is not necessarily the goal, it's the color placement that is her goal. How it's really blended in there. You can see the blonde, you can see the brown, and that very end, the tips are a little bit lighter. She really loves how that looks. Now this is where we are starting out. You can see how her ends are pretty blonde. Her natural is about 4 inches grown in, and her mid shaft is a little warm. She wants to be a little, not really ashy, but she pulls so much warm. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of violet to her formula. So I'm doing the Matrix Logic's Demi. They do pull, their ends are very warm. They're actually perfect for low lights on blonde. If you don't like have an EG, you're fine. You can just do the ends because they're warm enough. But for her, we don't want it to be that warm. So I did about 3/4 of the formula, the N, and I did 1/4 of it, the 6V. Now I'm going to go over my technique with you and kind of explain why I did what I did, but I want to add the depth underneath. Obviously, I'm bringing it all the way through, and I'm adding it. I made it easier for myself, this foil, rather than the first foil where I did the low light and then I added it to the root. Just go ahead and do that. Now, normally you'll see in my videos where I do, like, I'll take a whole section, apply the whole root color first, and then go through and do my low light act. I'm not doing it this time, and once I get past these few foils, I will show you why. Here, I'm just kind of showing how I'm feathering the brown down. As you see, there's not much blonde underneath, so it's not like I have to do too much blending, but I want to make sure it is blended. Now here is where I'm going to start changing it up a bit, and you will see why. So she does want to add some blonde through there, but not too much. So I'm going ahead and using, I know I normally use Flash Lift, but I've been using Blonde Dimensions, and it's been really nice because I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just me. You can comment below. Let me know if you've already had any issues. But the Flash Lift has gotten like thick on me, and I just don't feel like I can saturate it well enough. So I'm trying the Blonde Dimensions, and I'm liking it so far. So I added the I did the highlight, and then I went in, and you can see I painted the dark at the root and blending it down instead of vice versa. I'm just trying it this way. When I do a color, I just kind of do what I feel works best. I always have a goal in mind, but sometimes the technique kind of comes to me as I'm going up the head. You know, we are very artistic, right? So we can do that. Now, you see how I did the highlight. Now I'm taking the brown and going down. I want to look like it's a melt, right? So instead of taking the blonde and going up into the brown, I'm taking the brown into the blonde. You can do however you please. This is just how I feel like doing it. Now here's where I'm changing it up. I'm teasing it, but it's going to be a brown section. And the reason I am teasing it is the same reason you tease before doing a balayage. So it blends more, right? But even though I'm doing brown instead of blonde, I still want it to blend because I'm not bringing the brown all the way through to the end. So the same idea, when I comb out that brown, it's going to help blend even better. Now notice where I start the tease. I start it bringing it from the mid shaft up. That way the brown only goes down when I'm combing out through the mid shaft and blending it in. Now if I was to tease from the bottom, if I wanted to say you wanted to add more low light through the ends, then you would take your tease starting at the bottom and push it up, because some of the ends of the hair will be within that tease that will have that brown on it. And then once you comb it out, it will be through the ends also. So make sure you're paying attention to where you would like the color at by where you start teasing it. You know where the tease is. It can be, if it's really thick, if you're doing thicker hair, her hair's fine. She has a lot of it, but it's really fine. So I know how thick a section I can take. If somebody has thicker hair or coarser hair, you might want to take half as much of the section as I took to make sure that it's saturated. But I'm comfortable with what I'm doing, and it worked really well. But you need to use your own judgment on whichever head of hair that you are doing, because you don't want to have, if you don't saturate it enough, you will get blotchiness and it won't look very good. Now, if I was not adding any highlights, I could just go through and tease the whole thing and then add the root color and then bring it down, or you can just bring it down in foils. I wanted a lot. I wanted it like basically all in between each highlight foil brown, right? But instead of painting in between, I'm just doing it in section by section. It just helps me keep my work neater. You know, you do what's comfortable for you. There are many ways you could do this. This is just how I am liking to do it for this head. Now when I get here, I am adding a highlight. So I basically will do a highlight on top of every teased lowlight section that I do. It kind of adds the depth underneath that highlight, so the highlights will pop but not too strong, and there's always that depth underneath there. And I'll just keep doing this pattern as I go up the back of the head. Now this is one of my favorite parts, when I'm pulling the foils out of the hair, where you can see where it's all melty together. There might be a couple spots, I can see it in this video, where it looks like the brown had touched the ends there, but it's not. It hadn't been there the whole time. It's just from me pulling out the foil. So it, you know, obviously ran over top of the blonde, but I'm not too concerned because I'm rinsing it right now and it doesn't stick. So it is fine, I promise. Plus there was no way I could get down there anyways when I was applying it because I didn't bring it down there. Now this is the after and the goal. I toned her with a 9NB as usual. It's one of my favorite colors. This is it straight. You can see where it melts really good. I toned with shades EQ Gloss 9NB and 9P. I let it sit for 10 minutes and voila, we styled it. These pictures make it look a touch warmer than it actually is. It's just the sun coming in from the window. But she loved the color. Where she was very, very happy this time with the outcome. If you want to see what I'm talking about, go to that video. I will try to link it below also. but it is a great video to learn from. If you would like to see what I'm talking about, just go click on that link. And also, if you would like to see more of my videos, please don't forget to subscribe. By doing so, you help me keep bringing more to you. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up because that helps tremendously. I do appreciate you coming in. I hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.